Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and this is how to play support Zeus in 702 featuring Midone. So before we start this video, I feel like I need to clarify that I don't think that support Zeus is something we'll see every day. In my opinion, you should only go for it when you're against a team that is somewhat greedy and at the same time has a hero you want to counter specifically. Or also when the enemy team has a lot of squishy heroes. In this game, not only Zeus works as a means to find Tinker, he can also give vision for storm initiations and disruptor glimpses when Tinker split pushes. That combined with the enemy team having either a jungle troll or offlane troll guarantees that they are not going to lose the safe lane only because Midone has support Zeus. Another opinion I have on support Zeus is that it's very imperative that you have a jungler, but preferably a dual lane instead of a tri-lane. Zeus is very dependent on farm and even more on levels. You can't afford to get level 6 at 12 minutes with this hero. Also, dual lanes give you a little boost of experience and most of the time you can get kills and thus gold easier. Well, with that being said, let's begin. I really like that Midone calls his team to contest the bounty rune. As he plants the observer ward, it starts to get pretty clear that Luna is alone there, meaning that Tro is AFK or he's in the offlane. It's very important to contest this type of bounty rune because, as you can see, Tro and Nightstalker were trying to go for the same play in the bottom lane, meaning that if you don't show up and at least try to see who's in that lane carefully, as Midone did, you might end up losing one bounty rune for free just because you thought that no one was going to go for yours. Another interesting thing we see here is how much priority he gives on finishing boots. Zeus is a greedy support, and against heroes like Kanka and Luna that have way more control and move speed than you, it's important to finish boots early. So even though he doesn't get last hits in the lane, he gets the bounty rune to finish it.
The battle begins.
One thing I really like is how Midone approaches the start of the laning phase. A lot of people will start spamming arc lighting non-stop, popping clarity right away, only to get it cancelled by a Lucent Beam and not accomplishing too much, since Luna has a ton of regen. The effectiveness of Zeus in a lane is exponentially dependent on levels, and using all of his mana right now and walking back to base is not the right play. A cool little play he goes for and I really like is using arc lighting to deny part of the creep wave by drawing aggro from that camp. Only after that he uses the first clarity and he goes to a very hidden spot, when Luna and Kanka are very far away from him. Since the enemies get cold feet that Zeus is going to harass them from a place they can't really do anything, they get back, and I love that Midone gets a TP scroll right now in case Kanka or another hero goes for an aggressive play. After a while it gets clear that Kanka is only hidden in the top area of the trees, meaning he can easily snatch Dire's bounty rune. As he goes back to the lane, pay attention how he doesn't give away his observer location by trading it for one nuke on Kanka. He knows he's Gucci and walks towards him to trade hits, or is he?
A gift from the tempest of battle.
I feel like there was a decent chance he died there. I feel like it was a little bit too greedy, but he ends up fine. As he goes back to the lane, I really want to point out his 3 last hits that he gets. While seemingly unimportant, having the ability to get last hits on the fly like that is huge. You don't get a lot of chances to do that as a support player, so being good at it impacts your net worth percentage-wise more than playing carry, to be honest. I really like how Midone connects this bounty rune with a mid lane rotation. The greatest impact Nightstalker can do in this game, at least in my opinion, is ganking Storm repeatedly before he has level 6. His ability to reliably do that starts at 4 minutes, and while Midone has a TP scroll, with the burst damage coming from Tinker, there's a chance he doesn't get there in time. Nightstalker seems more interested in fighting his lane though, and as long as he has vision of Nightstalker in another lane, he's not that preoccupied. Since Midone was paying attention to everyone, he spots Dire trying to kill Nyx, and I love that he only learns his skill points now. He puts 2 points in Lightning Bolt. I feel like this is the best combination to get kills, and with the setup from Impale they get first blood. I feel like he was either waiting for a situation like that, or he would go something like 2 points in arc lighting and 1 in the passive to keep harassing them from afar. Usually though, you would rather get the aggressive build, and this counter TP allows him to go for the build he wants. One thing I want to point out is him not getting a point of the passive until level 8. Let's make some quick calculations here. Static field deals damage based on the enemy's current HP, so if Midone goes for a 800 HP hero, a very reasonable amount of HP for 5 minutes into the game, he will deal extra 32 damage, and that value only goes down as he casts more skills. For instance, at level 5, if he casts his 2 skills once, the next arc lighting he casts will add 15 damage from the passive. At the same time, he gets close to 100 extra damage by getting the 3rd point in lighting Lightning Bolt, and the same extra 15 damage if he gets the second point in Arc Lighting, but with the added benefit of hitting more targets in the teamfight. So after level 8, you can make a case to get Static Field. 1 extra point in Arc Lighting gives you 15 damage and more targets, but level 2 for level 3 increase is not that great percentage-wise. The enemies will also have more HP at this stage of the game, while at the same time you have another skill to make use of Static Field, your ult. And I feel like most of the time this is the best way to skill him, unless you need to rely on the harassing build in the laning phase. Since Night Stalker still didn't gank the mid lane, Midone places a mid ward to help Storm, since he's close to level 6, and it's always a good idea to use Lightning Bolt to scout for sentries or wards that could spot you doing that. Also, pay attention how he goes for the ward after the lane push, and not in that obvious fashion that you sometimes see. The support just shows up, stands close to the cliff from the low ground and goes back to his lane. Since Midone had another TP scroll, and having them is great before level 6, he secures another kill. Zeus is all about providing damage for kills, and if you're not in the right place at the right time, you will struggle with the hero because damage is pretty much all he provides besides vision. This teamfight is very cool. I guess the first aspect of it is how Midone only went back to base to regen when 9 time was over, so Night Stalker is not so much of a problem anymore. While at the same time he farmed his way back to the base. He really wants to engage in a fight, and luckily Nyx was going for a rotation mid that got spotted. Pay attention to his decision making. So to begin with, the only reason he plays that bold is because he has both Magic Wand and Raindrops. As he retreats, pay attention to his Magic Wand charges and how he still didn't use them. People oftentimes use them too soon when they didn't really needed them, and then in another fight that they need more regen, they only have like 4 because they spend the other ones. As Nyx gets axed, I really like that instead of wasting his skills on Night Stalker, he wants Tinker, but he knows he can't reach him so he backs off. Storm TPs and they guarantee 1 kill. As you watch the clip, you might feel puzzled by Midone not staying in the lane to get level 6 and kill someone.
You think to harness nature's power? You've got another thing coming!
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But if you watch the clip again, when he initiated with Lightning Bolt, there was an enemy observe ward there, along with the sentry that spotted Nyx. As they heal in the bathtub, Disruptor also noticed the ward and kills it for him. Nyx goes for another invis rotation, and if you just watch the replay, you're gonna feel like there's nothing special about it.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Gold for my chest.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
Radiant's mid
But watch again, not only Midone went to his tower to get level 6, he also took a safer path. If Dire has any observer ward and spots a solo Zeus going towards Luna, chances are she will ult from the high ground, killing Midone right away. Since he took the right path, he gets rewarded, because now he has more burst damage and there's no way Luna can turn this fight around. After they get the kill, pay attention how instead of just walking back to base and using TP to get another kill, he first spends all his mana farming that stack. He is in that state where he doesn't have enough mana to be relevant in a team fight, he also doesn't have his ult, while also having enough levels and mana to at least make use of that camp. So it's not like he is wasting time right now. He also gets level 7 with that camp, a decent power spike towards whatever Dire throws at them next.
Double damage!
Midone gets a D ward by simply paying attention to what's going on. So as he was going back to base, Luna and Kanka spot Nyx invisible and he's not fast enough to get a kill. No one spots Midone apparently, and even though he was pretty hidden and Dire had a huge creep wave, and they also killed Nyx, meaning they wouldn't feel so afraid of actually pushing, it's even daytime, yet they never go for it. So he farms the creeps, while also not missing any CS beside a catapult, and gets the D ward. I mean, at least he spotted it. As they go mid, Disruptor gets killed, and pay attention to Midone's decision making. When they jump on Tinker, there's really no reason to use ult, no one else is dying, and he doesn't know if they can get more kills. He's also in Lightning Bolt range, so there's really no reason to ult. Radiant feels very compelled to fight though, even at nighttime, and then when he sees that Omni Slash was not enough to get a kill, he commits ult. And with vision of Luna farming top and vision from the tower thanks to lightning bolt, they can easily dive for another one. Since it's nighttime, pay attention how mid one goes for this ward. First he hides as his team clears the crypts, and only when no one has vision of him, at least supposedly, he walks towards their shrine to place a ward. Just to reiterate on the last hitting part of things, look at mid one taking this crypt wave here. Not only he doesn't miss any last hits, but he uses both right clicks and skills to do it. Sometimes Zeus only use mana to get last hits, and then when a team fight starts, they're on like half mana and they can't get the kills they need to. I mean, he has 38 last hits in 30 minutes. You can watch this game and just feel like Zeus is amazing, but a good part of it is him getting good items and good item timings. Stuff like arcanes, going for the right small items like wand, raindrops and soul ring. And a good part of that is skills, but also last hits that he got when no one was in the lane, and also bounty runes. He made a lot of effort in getting as many as possible. With that observe ward, he's able to spot Kunkka going for a very weird movement. It's nighttime, Kunkka was alone, and they had vision of other dire heroes in other lanes, so what's the only purpose of a support going to another place at nighttime alone? Also, he clicked on him and saw that he had an observer ward, and they get the D ward by just paying attention. One thing you need to understand when you're playing support Zeus is that besides being good to deward and give vision of some areas, you're only good at dealing damage. You don't bring any heals, saves, control, and because of that you need to be ready and available for fights, especially when you don't have your ult. They get a kill on Luna with the help of mid one's ult, and pay attention how he walks towards the bottom lane to farm instead of TPing. His ult is on cooldown and you need to be in the team fights as often as possible so that your pick adds value to your team. As Nyx infiltrates the area mid one's observe ward is, he uses lightning bolt in the mid lane to see whether Dire has vision of them or not. Since they didn't, they go static storm, but it ended up being a terrible fight. Mid one didn't have ult in time, Juggernaut was not there, and even though Disruptor ult seemed good, they fall. Since the enemy team has Kunkka, Night Stalker, a lot of heroes that can either control him from far away or dive him, pay attention where mid one is standing to lure the creeps and halt the push from Dire. I can see a lot of people dying here just because they were too close. In the end, as Dire disengages, they get a Luna kill.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That as tribute.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They engage on Dire again, Troll still has Aegis, and I really like the angle mid one approaches the fight. Not only it gives him information that there is no ward there, but it allows him to position himself in a pretty good place to throw some spells. Look at his movements and clicking pattern. As his allies die, he immediately understands TPing is the best option and he survives. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please guys give it a thumbs up. If you want to see the extended version of this video, please check the link in the description. Plugin is a platform where you can learn from people like Chessie, Fog, Munib, and get better at the game. They have great content on the new patch, and if you want to stay ahead of the curve, it's a great time. Just figure out the patch faster than others and get those easy wins. He has move speed advantage over him. That combined with Fury Swipes forces Abaddon's shield, and only then Fear commits his level 2 Earthshock, because the slow would be purged with the shield if he used it first. With this simple play, he guarantees a kill, while at the same time, since he went on Abaddon without right-clicking him near aggro range, the creep equilibrium is still perfect. The most important aspect of zoning the offlaner, like Fear did here, is that it gets exponentially harder for him to get more farm, especially if he has no means of jungling. In this case, Abaddon didn't got items to do that, and since Fear literally zoned him during the entire laning phase, the difference in experience and items makes it impossible